For those players out there wondering why their weapons are jamming too much, why they seem to do nothing basically, why a pistol might be more powerful than whatever they're currently using, or why the stats don't make any sense at all, somebody dug into the files and dug up what the actual values are. He provides a screenshot, but the Excel document is more up to date than the screenshot. For right now, the screenshot's what we'll go with. He goes on to explain, saying, I am having difficulties finding the modifications for change caliber stats in the game files. For example, the Viper 5 can change from 9x19mm to 45, which adds more damage than the AK. While penetration is still bad, you can counter this by aiming for the head. Most enemies will go down in 1 to 3 shots to the head, so penetration stats are mostly for mutants and center mass shots to enemies. He provides a little table for the various ammo types, which is easy to digest and is a nice touch. And he continues, saying, the standard wear using any special ammo such as AP and HP is 13% additional wear on the gun. In my opinion, AP is mediocre stats-wise, and only 9x18 guns should use it. HP, however, is crazy. Almost 20% additional damage for shotguns is almost a must-have for mutants. Darts do weigh 0.9 kilograms per shot, while regular buckshot is 0.6 kilograms, but it's worth it to deal as much damage as possible. Subsonic rounds are hard to come by in this game. They wear at 11.5%, so slightly less, but only give you 14% flatness. Useless ammo, unless you have a sniper rifle with exceptional amount of bullet drop, like the Vintar. If you're wondering why there are missing guns in the picture, it's because it has no stat difference to the weapon it's based on. The only difference is the skin and attachments it comes with. If the unique weapon has no stats, it's because they share it with the weapon they are based off of. Somebody in the comments was complaining that their Valix AK was actually worse than the regular AK, and that's true if you look at the image. The only reason he got it was because it had a scope, but comparing it to the original, it appears that the original was, well, superior in almost every way. In my own experience so far, I haven't really felt the need to use any unique weapons like that. The big contenders seem to be the Dnipro, the Clusterfuck, and the PM. Some initial comments in the thread were, as others have mentioned, it would be good to make sure color coding is consistent, referring to the user's document. Sometimes high numbers are good, for example damage, but sometimes low numbers are good. The highlighting should reflect good, better, or best consistently, and not just highlight the highest numbers in each column. It's not clear whether higher or lower values for accuracy are better. The Gauss rifle is presumably hit scan and has an accuracy of 1.00, which should mean higher is better. Repeating the stats for the unique/named weapons instead of just having a dash would probably make the chart a little easier to read. And this is where he gets back and says that the Excel document is more up to date than the image. One notable criticism is that the shotguns have very close damage to the Gauss rifle. If the Gauss rifle is so amazing, so wonderful, why is it so close to the shotguns? Shouldn't it be a one-hit kill? It's interesting to note that a PTM will do more damage than an AK. If you've been noticing jams at higher percent levels and durability, this chart will give you some insight into that. Another interesting contribution is that this chart does indeed confirm that Skiff's pistol has no weight at all, except for if you add attachments to it. Durability and health do actually have differences between them. Health is how many hit points a gun has. If your gun falls into an anomaly or is fragmented by a grenade, whatever, that is the actual health of the weapon. Durability is how many shots you fire before the gun is down to 0%. The Clusterfuck, for example, would only be able to shoot 600 rounds before the weapon goes to 0%. That's why if you shoot a couple times, your durability will go down. Another great example would be the Dnipro. It can fire 1,807 bullets until it's 0% durability. Durability does not seem to affect the damage, it only causes the weapon to jam more. Some weapons can have more jams than others at the same durability, like the NATO weapons seeming to jam already at 90%, while the Soviet weapons seem to jam more at 50 to 70%. I've definitely noticed a couple jams around 85 to 90 myself, and it was a little surprising. Now, the point before about the unique weapons, the majority of the DLC weapons are mostly just skins and attachments, so they're not really anything truly unique, which is why some of them aren't included. One interesting outlier would be the Drowned AK, but it has the same stats as the AKM-74S, despite showing slightly more damage in the in-game UI. Although, of course, this is the reason the chart was made, because the in-game UI doesn't make sense. So if you're wondering why your gun is, dying so fucking quickly, hopefully this chart fills in some blanks for you. Apparently there was a mistake. The author of this document did not include the silence weapon. In the game files, the weapon is called Silence, but it's actually called Special in game. Anyway, he didn't include it, so maybe you will shortly. Another couple things to point out, the M860 has the best ammo economy in terms of carry weight. But DPS-wise, it's the worst shotgun you could use. There's 60% less damage on the Vector versus the Bison, even though they use the same ammo. In Stalker 2, there doesn't seem to be a limit on how fast you can shoot a shotgun, so you can just have an auto clicker and go to town with a SPAS 12. The reason I picked the SPAS 12 is because it can do a lot of damage in a short amount of time if you can click quickly enough. But anyway, if you've had a gun here featured that you've been maining and you've been wondering why a couple things just aren't really making sense about it, maybe it'd be prudent to check out this chart, see what's going on, put a few puzzle pieces together, and maybe consider a different weapon. Hopefully with more patches, since we've already gotten the 3 so far. They've been waiting a little bit for the 4th one, I suppose. We will see some balancing, potentially. But, we'll see. Who knows? Anyway, I'll put the link in the description for you. Anyway, that's all for this one.